Oh, finally. No, the audio isn't on yet. Once he flicks the switch, it'll work.
Did the
You don't need to know.
generator control switch?
It's Phil's switch. It's his little. It's over in front of Phil. Because none of these work right now until he flicks it.
So you call my mom and actually I did, my guy went up there and I said, phone. And he was told me. So we're here on page 118. You see what? You stop. Over here.
No? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, Tom, thanks for responding on that text. I haven't responded. I'll write down that again. I was just thinking. Right. Well, it's a tough scheme.
Let's hold on that local wall first. Get that out of
Okay.
You know, good, Rebecca?
Yep.
Okay, welcome everybody to the January 11th, 2024 town board meeting. If you would, please rise.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rebecca, why don't we have that, well, we only got one resolution tonight, let's do that first.
Resolution 24 of 2024, resolution adopting Town of Brunswick local law number 1 of the year 2024.
I'll offer it. I'll second it. Mark, real quick, I don't get a lot of people here, but this is about the firemen.
Yeah, it's a New York State did a survey and worked on volunteer recruitment and retention across the state. So they came out with this plan that to offer volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers a 10% tax credit. So we've brought this up to the Public Safety Committee of the town, all the fire departments are all in favor of it. And it's another way to support our volunteers to help the safety of the
Okay. With Walker, second.
The foregoing resolution has been offered by Councilman Sipperly and seconded by Supervisor Harrington. Roll call vote, Councilman Sipperly,
Aye.
Councilman Christian.
Aye.
Councilman Sullivan,
Aye.
Councilman Balistrary,
Abstain.
and Supervisor Harrington.
Aye.
The resolution has been adopted.
All right, well, we'll get ready to move into visitors for the wish state. I'm quite sure everybody's up to speed here, but just, I don't have Facebook. I just want to make sure people understand. Some people are telling me, oh, we got a public hearing tonight at the town board for this proposed restaurant chain. Just so you know, and I think you probably do, this is not a public hearing on that. The town board, as you know, according to a comprehensive plan that we did a few years ago, with public hearings and asking the people, and the input was that they wanted to keep the town pretty rural. So about 80% of the town, I'm going to say, I'm throwing these numbers out, is still what I consider rural because the zoning is an A40. It was also recognized that we needed a commercial zone. And where was I going to be? Where water and sewer is. And of course, I don't need to tell you people. That's the commercial zone. So what happened is we create the zoning, and it's a B15 down there. So now what happens is when people come in, they look at the zoning, and a B15 allows a restaurant, among other things. Now, tough part is we can't say, wait a minute, we don't like this type of restaurant. We don't want a Chick-fil-A, you know, we want an Applebee's, we want a steakhouse. Can't do that. It's zone commercial. So, and to be honest with you, you wonder where these good restaurants, careful what I say here. You wonder where the restaurants are we've been talking about. I've talked to a few of them, and they said, Mr. Harrington, we want to go someplace where there's a large office, you know, business. There are businesses where office people, because we need a lunch crowd. I disagree with that. I think we've got a lunch crowd here, but that was one reason. Now, a few years go by, now they're saying, oops, we're not building many restaurants because of minimum wage is going up. We can't get anybody to work. We're not really opening. So now the trend is takeouts. So I don't want you to think I haven't tried to get something different besides a fast food place or something. I have. This is what I'm hearing. So now the zoning right now is B15. So they come in, they do an application, and what it does, it's out of our hands at this point. It it goes to the planning board. The planning board is the one that does the site plan, we call it. You know, hours of operation, the stormwater, traffic, they're the ones that review all this. And this particular one is just getting started. There's gonna be a public hearing on it. They're gonna talk to DOT and Rensselaer County Highway. And so the planning board, I just want to let you know, keep your eyes open because they're gonna have a public hearing, but it's all before them. So just as you, I don't want you to sit there saying that we can say, no, we don't want you tonight. That's not what it's about. But I know there's other situations you're concerned about here with the town board, so. At this point,
Phil,
I'm gonna open to the public.
when would the hearing be though?
I don't know, it's just getting started, it's all, that's the other thing, you know, very strong at this. We, the town board, does not get involved with the planning board, we do not get involved with the zoning board, we do not get involved with the assessor, we do not get involved with the judges. I don't go to planning board meetings, I don't go to zoning meetings, although I'm interested, because I don't want this influencing, because they're all appointed, the zoning board, a 5-member board appointed for 5 years, planning board, 7-member board appointed for 7 years, each one of them. So the whole application's been playing out with the planning board, and I get minutes, just like you do, we get minutes. So I've been following the minutes, so again, how they're gonna handle the traffic, I'm gonna watch that myself. So at this point, I'll open the public, anybody wanna come up? You have to come on right up and state your name and your concern in that microphone. Come on right up, sir. We're taping this so our new town clerk can get the minutes correct, so.
State your name and your address clearly,
Ray
please.
Beacon, 511 McChesney Avenue Extension. I think the big issue is the traffic. I don't think anybody cares about more restaurants at this point. I just found out about this meeting and I just found out about this proposal of these restaurants. I make some phone calls and everybody's like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. What the heck is wrong with these people? Meaning the town, the planning board. We can't handle the traffic now. And Chick-fil-A, they are so known for massive lines. Where are you gonna put all the traffic now? I mean, I wouldn't have a problem if you did these Chick-fil-A and Chipotle, if you did it way out past the stores. Go farther out, but I mean, if you're congesting that area down there from Walmart all the way down to Burnett Avenue, it's a nightmare coming up the road and going down, you know, morning traffic coming up, you know, at rush hour traffic. So it's insane to put this kind of a burden on people, and the amount of people that honk horns, go sit and watch people try to get out of spots and everything. You can almost bet there'd be road rage in the future. And extra accidents, I think that's probably the biggest concern. I don't go to work every day anymore, so I don't have to worry about that stuff. But I've gone to doctor's appointments and stuff, not even realizing, even in the noontime hours, Hoosick Street's a nightmare. So, you know, I think that's the big, I don't know. Maybe everybody's thinking different things, I don't know. But that's my concern.
That's a good point. When these different people call me, I say to them, listen, we got a lot of room, maybe up the road or something, you know? And they go, what, are you crazy? Everybody wants to be between Walmart and Walgreens. That's where the traffic is. If I told Chick-fil-A or somebody, we got a place for you up on John Snyder Road, they don't want it up there, you know? And Silver
It's such a
Griffin,
bottleneck.
you people go to Silver Griffin, he's been in business forever. And I said to him, you know, why wouldn't you move up the road? And he said, Phil, look out in front. Now, I don't think it's a compliment, but the traffic is stopped in front of his place, they gotta look at it, you know? But everybody that comes in, I suggest moving out. And I don't wanna put one in all due respect. I tried to, and you people in Sickaway won't be happy, but as you know, I'm in trying to keep commercial off of Route 2. I try not to build, I say I, when I say I, it's the board. Try not to put apartments over there on Route 2. But then what's happened on Route 2, along with traffic, is we have an industrial mining pit, 2 of them at the end of Route 2 up in Grafton, with rocks and stones, and they're getting less and less around. So now the demand on that, so Route 2 is crazy with truck traffic. I'll guarantee you, the trucks are not gonna go down Route 7, so it's kind of complicated, but I hear you, so. All right, anybody else? You get one at a time here.
Sorry. First come, first served. Jane McEwen, I live on Chesney Avenue. Chesney Avenue is a nightmare. I've lived there 40 some odd years. We get all of the excess traffic that don't want to deal with Hoosick Street or Hoosick Road. The end of McChesney Avenue at the light is a bottleneck. I've sat there 3-4 lights to get out because the traffic does not move. Now we're having problems because just last week, we had a rental pickup truck that got hit in our driveway. Somebody doing a U-turn. So now we have to put up signs, no U-turns. When is it gonna stop? Can this really absorb the structure that's out there? I don't think so. I want our voice heard. Like Chesney Avenue is dealing with tractor trailers now. Why? Why are they on our little country road?
There's a gentleman in his office,
They don't need to be there.
there's somebody here that suggested a while back, why aren't you developing Chesney Avenue more? And putting traffic over there. Jim, that was you, buddy. That comes every meeting. So that, I don't think you want that either, you know, so
We can't handle it.
I understand.
It's awful. If I could move my house, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
I was born on Chesney Avenue, 75 years ago.
Then you know what I'm.
I know exactly what happened.
We're there 40 years, quiet.
Used to bring a milk truck down the hill and pull it into Boneville Lane, a trailer truck, before I moved, and back straight across that road. Blind, it's a blind. And maybe you see one car every 45 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I understand, thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Christy Fraunhofer, 72 Oneida Ave. I'm probably here for the same reason, and I feel like the new restaurant, mattress, fast food thing, I think everyone's here because it's a town issue. I understand what you're saying, it's a planning board and
No,
zoning
and
board,
I understand the town issue too.
because it affects everyone that live in the town and commute in the town, the Stickaway area. So I think that is everyone's concern is the
I'm pretty sure
matter.
that too, but I wanna make sure they didn't come thinking.
Right, and we know that.
We're gonna vote on it tonight or something.
We will have an opportunity to address those boards hopefully, but we just wanted to say that I think that it's a community issue rather than just a specific zoning. And also, again, kind of a broken record, the traffic in our neighborhood over the Thanksgiving week and the Christmas week was unbearable. We have an intersection that people don't stop at. We have 4 or 5 cars lined up either way because Hoosick Street was at a standstill for so many days that the traffic coming through is impossible. Do we know where we are with the money that Hannaford allotted for our neighborhood when they?
That's 10,000.
Yeah,
I know about the 100,000 grant that we got, because you're on the committee also and sat into these meetings. You know, I just received the final draft, and I guess it's up to them. The Capital District Regional, now they should call it council, they're gonna release this final draft any day now, I believe. They get a chance to read that.
right, and my understanding from those meetings were that the town roads are the town roads. They're focusing on the state road that they have control over. So I know that we talked about our neighborhood, we had to wait for the traffic study, which was last February, and then redone in April was the one thing. And then we met with Mr. Bonesteel, 4th of July weekend, so we're kind of like, where are we with our situation? It's getting worse, yeah, I mean, you know our frustration.
Now, people, this young lady is on the committee, we put her on the committee, I keep saying I, it's not, she's at this point, it's their point, I don't have nothing to do with nothing. But, put this young lady on the committee that's been meeting with DOT and the Capital District Transportation. And what do they tell us? The person from DOT, ready for this? And I asked her, I'm not making this up. The question is, we said, how can you help us on Route 7? How can you get the traffic off Route 7? What can you do? Put them in the neighborhood. Isn't that what he said?
Well,
He said, that's what I tell everybody, and it doesn't go over very well.
he suggested putting the bypass.
That was afterwards.
But
he
he brought
said-
up that the neighborhoods are not working.
But I'm saying, he said, you want to go off Route 7? Encourage the neighborhood. But then he came back and said that if Duncan's was ever developed, the rest of it, that would be an opportune time to have that developer. And let's go on record here. I haven't seen anything about our loans. I haven't seen anything about anything in this Duncan's. Nothing. But they said that you were saying was a good idea. If that was ever developed, get that developer to build a road from North Lake and bypass your whole area. But that was after he said, put everything in the neighborhood. So that's the attitude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't get that from him, because we were talking about how, yeah, the bypass definitely, but we were talking about how the neighborhood roads are so narrow, they're not designed
Right.
for this containment of, and we are with, you know, kids and dogs and off into the snowbanks, and cars are stopped because they're not fitting all the way through, people are mad, and it's just a matter of time before something bad happens, and we would like to see speed humps, anything soon.
I'll read a comment that was on Facebook from one of your neighbors that wasn't very complimentary. He said, I'm not doing anything down there. But maybe I'm not, I'm trying.
We're getting frustrated, so we're hoping that maybe we'll get something going soon. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Come on up.
My name is Sharon Roy, and I live at 15 Riding Club Road. It's kind of quiet over there. And I feel as if I'm preaching to the choir here, but the traffic situation, even as it is now, I used to buy all my groceries at Market 32, right across from where this Chick-fil-A is supposed to be located. It's now much easier for me to go to Hudson Valley or even Latham than it is to buy groceries. So, you know, speaking to the people who think, oh, you know, there's all this traffic there and people are going to come into my store. Wrong. They're going to go someplace else. And that's already happening.
But then they come and keep building stores, or they want to build stores.
I know it. It's crazy. If anybody really wants to know more about these Chick-fil-A stores and the traffic problems that they cause, I don't understand it. It's just chicken. But
I'm gonna kind of
anyway,
agree, but I'll get sued probably.
all you have to do is Google Chick-fil-A traffic and you'll hear the nightmares. I mean, just one example, in Santa Barbara, okay, we're not California, but city traffic report on the Chick-fil-A drive-thru concluded that the queues resulting from the onslaught of drivers flocking to the fast food chain can block one of the nearby streets for an average of 90 minutes on weekdays and 155 minutes on Saturdays. Mercifully, they're closed on Sundays. And, you know, an area closer to ours, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania reported 500-foot lines of traffic. And in that same article in the Lancaster online newspaper, they cited similar problems in Ohio, Florida, North Carolina, New Jersey, and Texas. In some cases, neighboring businesses have filed lawsuits because their customers can't reach them. So that's I know you're saying that this is the wrong place, and we'll come back when we have an opportunity. to
I'm not saying it's the wrong place, I just didn't want you to expect more.
Right.
It's the right place, avoid concern about how the town's being led.
Okay, so if you're talking to some of those businesses who think this is gonna be great, have them Google these articles.
All right,
Thank you.
we want to hear you, there's no problem there. Come on up.
Good evening. I'm Jamie Morris Ash, 218 South Lake Avenue. I am fairly new to this community. We've only been here just shy of 3 years. I have a couple of different things to say. Coming from a corporate restaurant, background, I will tell you, there is absolutely zero care about your communities on the sides. On the side streets, there is no care whatsoever. And I don't even think, the young lady who's just up here, I don't even think that, comparing us to Santa Barbara or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, all we have to do is look at how long it took for people to get into Chick-fil-A locally, 4 and 5 hours for them to get Chick-fil-A when they first opened. Being on South Lake, we have a few different challenges down there. We have the traffic, which I travel 60 to about 90 miles each way to work every single day. My husband, gratefully, God bless his Lord, he only works over in Waterford. However, we have a water issue. We have a major problem with water and flooding, and we've been in touch with the planning board and the Department of Transportation and everybody over here. So we have that issue. The more that comes onto Hoosick Street and Hoosick Road, I apologize if I'm not sure where the line stops between street and road. Since we've moved here, we've noticed the increase in business, the increase in traffic. We've become very good friends with lots of local business people on Hoosick Street and Hoosick Road. We've noticed a major decrease in their business load. We would love to open a business on Hoosick Street in one of the already available open spots. I'm a big fan of using what is already in place. And I, like everyone else here, I understand this is not the place to discuss all of this. However, I do think it's important that we all voice our opinions to all of you, including the planning board when that finally pops up. I think it's a bit deceitful to try and put new businesses, even if it's zoned, is it B15?
Yes.
Okay, if it's zoned that, does it mean that you still have to accept bids, that you still have to accept business into those spaces?
We have to accept the application,
Okay,
and we have to put them through a review,
okay,
and we hire engineers and so on.
perfect. And
You
the
can't say no,
Sure,
we're not gonna even look at it.
but you can accept the application, it doesn't mean that you have to approve. And then when I say you, that's not
The
your
plan.
board, that's the planning board, okay. Go ahead.
I figured maybe better listen to what everybody says instead of cutting in.
No, that's okay. I would appreciate learning more because I think utilizing all of the current spaces that we have is the most important thing. Keeping.
Here's my problem with that, utilizing the places that already, there's new ownership, different leadership. Say, the Brunswick Plaza, or where, Brunswick Plaza, all right? And I'm being told, I don't know for sure, I'm being told that the newer generation taking over doubled everybody's rent. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people moved out. I'm not in favor of somebody coming in saying, you gotta go to her and pay whatever she's asking, you gotta go there.
Sure.
I'm not gonna do that.
No, of course not.
So that's something you gotta watch too.
Right, so obviously the housing market has certainly increased and helped increase the prices of rents. The corporate business has raised everyone else's rents that are currently here. Those are things that small business people like myself, or I will speak for some other friends of ours in the neighborhood, Common Crumb or Mocha Blend, some other locations locally, Viejo San Juan. I'm watching lots of people struggle with these fantastic small businesses that are in this area. People that have a lot to offer the community and have been there for quite some time, that are now struggling. We desperately want to open a business here so badly. It's such a struggle watching the traffic patterns. Me to get to my
Would you
home.
consider someplace between, outside of Walmart and that little area for your business, or would you
For my
want to be,
business,
or do you want to be right where the traffic is?
because I want to be somewhere that's already built, something that's been there, that's been vacant. Because to me, my business is based around earth-friendly, earth-conscious, people-friendly, pet-friendly, eco-friendly products and services. And that would include utilizing the space that we already have, rather than constructing more, tearing down more trees, building more plastic and nonsense that we don't need in this planet. That's a whole other conversation that we can have some other day. But for sure.
Like Stewart's was for sale or for rent or something up here, the old Stewart's at the end of 142. Now I think we have a smoke shop in there or something.
Oh,
You
the
would-
black.
I mean,
it was
you would consider
Black
You're not a
woods or
business
something.
person to the point where I want all this traffic.
Right.
I would move someplace.
Yeah, I'm fine as long as I
Okay.
have parking
But
available.
everybody else I talk to.
Yeah, we're looking over actually, close to where Mocha Blend is, because there is parking,
Yeah.
there's an emergency center there. There's a lot of other business there. However,
And the rents might have went up twice, but that's okay.
that's all right, I have a friend over there. Hoping that make some friends here. However, I will say traffic getting to my home, and it is a constant struggle. My little 8-year-old, Ridge, is back there today. He's learning about public service, he's learning about public office. My husband's in law enforcement, so we want to make sure that he has a fun place to get home to every day instead of spending 40 minutes. We live 1.2 miles from the Brunswick baseball fields. It takes me 23 minutes to get there. 23 minutes. That's the easiest possible way that I can get there. And on the days that I know that it's even worse, we go all the way around Route 2 and then come down. I apologize, I don't know the name of the road yet, but by the Stewart's that's all the way down by Tamarack School, and we come up back that way. My husband knows another way, I don't know it yet, but traffic is insane. And I will say there needs to be some sort of enforcement there at the intersection of Lake Avenue, South Lake, North Lake, and Hoosick. It is insane. People don't care. They block the road. You can't get through. Well, then these people can't go, and then these people can't turn left. It's insanity. So I don't know where we are in the big spectrum of can you widen the road? Can you do anything there? Is there any way to still maintain some sort of a walkway so that there is
You're talking
access?
South Lake Avenue?
We live on South Lake.
I know.
Yeah, but, North Lake crossing over
What I'm
into
saying
South
is,
Lake.
that's a county road, you're probably aware it's not a town.
I just found that out actually, but, but that intersection is insanity, and it's Hoosick traffic, not.
Everybody says Harrington doesn't care about traffic. Harrington lives out in the farm country,
I know
okay?
that you get, so I'm not really sure.
When Harrington moved out there, because I was 8 years old, it's changed, so everything's changed a little bit now, but I live on the opposite side of Tamarack. The farm is on the left going up Tamarack. And, in the old days, not too many years ago, I had a golden retriever that I loved, me and my wife. And I went to work at 4 o'clock in the morning to milk cows. And I left the dog outside, and the dog would come over at some point. Where I live, it takes me in the morning anytime from like 6:45 to say 8 o'clock or something like that. It would take 10 minutes to get out my driveway because everybody's coming down from Vermont or where the heck they come from. So there's traffic all over the place, and of course they're coming down to try to stay out of Route 7. I know they are, and then they hit Route 2 and go down. But all I'm saying is people are moving in and there's more and more traffic all over. So
Right.
it's,
I noticed, I'm not a big Facebooker, but my husband was sending me things this morning. I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to So, but he sent me things and people were saying, it's just the snow traffic, people going to Vermont or coming from Vermont. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's like that year round. We do spring ball, fall ball, and it still takes me 22 to 27 minutes, sometimes longer, to get to the ball field. And I'm 1.2 miles away. So, just those things. I think it's important just to be cognizant of the
When
traffic
you go over
pattern.
South Lake, you hit Route 2 and it takes you 20 or 25 minutes to get to the ball field.
If I come up.
I come up
and I
Route 2 a
know-
lot, man.
So
I
what I
don't
would
go
do
quite
is
that
I
slow.
would come up this way, I would come up South Lake to Hoosick, and
Oh,
it is
oh,
already a
But
nightmare.
you're talking this, not the Route 2 ball field.
No, we don't go to Route 2 ball
Okay,
fields.
okay.
No. Nope, the
That makes more
Brunswick
sense to
Youth
me.
Baseball, which is over on Hoosick, next to Ace. Park.
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, so that takes us
Okay,
a lifetime, but corporate business, I think, is really.
my
driving
problem is I
our
like to
business.
talk too, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, have a good night, I appreciate it.
Come on up.
Hi, my name is Mary Ellen Adams. I live on Cooper Avenue, which, if anyone knows, is Sickaway Avenue coming onto Hoosick Street. So we probably have the worst place to come out of Hoosick Street, because we are right where the lanes consolidate, and then you go up. But anyway, I just have a couple of procedural things. I understand if something's zone B15 or whatever, we're obligated as a town to accept an application, and actually, if they meet all the requirements, I don't think you can say no unless there's an ethical reason or something. But when they ask for variances to the zoning board or the planning board, that board can say no, correct? There's no
Variances?
reason, okay. Okay, so that I think is very, very
Matter of
important.
fact, this board said no to rezoning Carroll Grove and Route 7, because they wanted to put a dollar store. And people, if they didn't want it, we do vote no sometimes, people, so.
Yeah, I think sometimes is the key, because I think, I've come to meetings and I've watched the videos.
When we can.
Yeah, so, well, I guess I'm urging a big no to be made to anybody that asks for a variance for anything in development on Hoosick Street. I guess you could say from Lake Avenue up to Stewart's, because that's the worst part. But we have moratoriums on the solar stuff, we have moratoriums on two-family, larger things. Why can't there be a moratorium on business development in that corridor until the traffic management is figured out? I think everybody here, or most, I won't speak for everybody, but probably 99.9% people here are because we're concerned about traffic. We know development's gonna happen, but what I see, I grew up on North Lake Avenue, I moved to Cooper Avenue, I raised my kids, and now my grandkids go to school 18. We can't walk our kids to or from school 18 when it's our days to pick them up. I can go see my grandson that lives in Latham, play baseball in Latham, quicker than I can see my kids, the grandkids play on the field up here. I come out of my drive, or my road, I will turn right and then take a left, because people block. I would also suggest, can we not have a sign that says it's illegal to block intersections? The other thing that's really scary, and it's caught me twice in the last couple of weeks, the turn lane between Hoosick Street or North Lake Avenue going up, people are so frustrated, they're going into that turn lane and they're going. And like, I've done it, my daughter lives over on Oneida, I babysit a lot, so I use that turn lane to get to Oneida. And I am going, all of a sudden, I have a car coming at me so fast, they're not turning. They're coming down because they want to get down to the intersection faster, because they've been sitting in traffic. And it goes both ways when you're coming down. The road rage that I see on people's faces, when I just say, please, can I get out? And they're so angry because they've been sitting in traffic since 15th Street. Brunswick is beautiful. We're all here because of what Brunswick was. We have to have development. But when you sit in that traffic, and no matter where you're coming from, that you come and pass through, you're angry, you're frustrated, bad things are gonna happen. The number of fender benders, I'd love to see the police reports on the accidents that happen, stupid little things, because somebody's not paying attention. You sit there for 10 minutes, people are gonna look at their phones.
You know what the state says about those accidents? Nobody got killed.
Yeah.
How they gonna get killed? They're only going 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, well,
But that's what the state looks at.
that's what my 90-year-old mother said when she wanted to keep driving, is I'm only gonna drive.
I'm telling you my frustration, you know?
So then that brings me to my other question, because over the years, it's always been in newsletters, everything, it's a state road, we don't have control over it. It's a county road, we don't have control over it. Now we hear, I think it's, the state says it's a town thing, I've seen that on social media, I have no
Whoa, wait a minute now.
So-
It's there.
What's the town thing?
the road, that the town has some responsibility for Route 7, is that?
Uh,
So in the world,
To be honest with you, the sidewalks. The state basically forced us to take the sidewalks over if they're, because of cost share or money.
you better have good insurance, because
So-
sidewalks are.
So we own those, we have to maintain those sidewalks, and if I say so myself, we plow a lot of roads, and I think we do a pretty good job clearing the sidewalks. That's our responsibility.
So in big business and small business, in nonprofits, in healthcare, in education, everybody does partnerships. This road affects the businesses, it affects everybody that travels it. Why can't we have a partnership at a public forum with DOT, with the county, everybody together? I think people get angry and it can be hard in a forum like this because everybody gets all riled up. but I still think people need to be heard. They need to hear from, not from you that the state says it's not you, not from the state that it's not them, it's you. Yeah, we need the representatives from all those places. Somehow we gotta figure it out. We all deserve better. We shouldn't be able to
I totally agree. I say to the state, we're partners, and they laugh for 10 minutes at me.
So
That-
you
that's
know
a-
what? Then
How
you
can you win games like that? How about Jim's here from Route 2? We put a petition in. My wife says to me, been married to me 51 years, you're probably watching tonight. Keep your voice down, because it looks like you're mad. I'm loud because I have to yell over the cows or whatever I do. I'm not upset. So, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, Route 2, it's common sense to me and to us. There's different speed zones that should be lowered. So we had people that went around with petitions, neighbors signed a petition, they went around and did a good job. We wrote a letter on behalf of the town saying, we agree, get the speed limit. They come back and said, no, not gonna happen. That's my partner you're talking about.
So let me say
How do you
this
reason
then.
with that?
So I think there's a lot of power in this room with the voices in here, and this is a
I love it.
fraction. This is a fraction. You give out the names of the people at DOT and the county that we need to talk to invite to come to a table.
The gentleman
We'll
from
do it. I think
Jim
people will
Tashik's
do
here, he's got a copy of that letter with names on it and everything. I mean, you know how hard it was? Just common sense. Years ago, they tried to lower the speed limit in front of Tamarack School. I forgot what it was. They would not lower the speed limit, and their trailer trucks come down. You know why the speed limit got lowered up there? Because all of a sudden, a guy by the name of Senator Bruno got some power. This is what you're dealing with. You're saying, you gotta be a partner. I'm not gonna win any games being a partner with them guys, you know? With all due respect. I get frustrated, so I hear you.
So
They say to me, we got a lot of Route 7s in this state. You know how many Route
I
7s we
doubt
got?
they really have as many.
No, I tell them that. I tell them that.
We are known far and
Frustrating.
wide from people who don't live anywhere near or but happen to travel through here once or twice.
Can-
I would think, social media, I think is probably what got most people here tonight. I think if you provide that information, or somebody, whoever posts things, maybe it doesn't come from you, but somebody, I think people are elected, people wanna get reelected, people don't like it when.
Not on the state level.
Well, I think there's ways that people can be persuaded.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
You know, I've been on this board for a long time, and I've sat through all the meetings of this,
yeah.
and everybody complaining about and I live in this town as well. My question to the audience is, how do I make the traffic go away? How do I do that? How do I make them not go to Vermont? How do I there's someone has an answer for me. Would you come up here?
I don't think we can make it go away.
Well, that's the
I think
thing.
we
I
have
want to
to
know.
manage it.
You know, you're here, and we have the roads being what they are, and New York State's not gonna do anything about it, but we have the traffic. What am I supposed to do? Say, I don't want you to drive on
No
Route
more
7
business.
today?
No, you can say, you can put the moratorium on business development.
Is that gonna stop my traffic?
It's gonna help it not get any worse in this congested area.
The
I
problem-
love to go to takeout, but I can't get out on Route 7 once I get my food.
But the problem
I'm gonna be
exists,
hot by the time I get home. I can't go up and get a
the
pizza.
problem exists today, right now. Where am I gonna send the traffic to? How do I say, I don't want you to drive on Route 7 because it's too congested? How do
I don't
I?
think you can do something tomorrow.
Well, that's the problem here.
And we know that.
Well,
We
but
know that.
I get that, but we're here listening to it the same old time and time again.
And you know.
And we don't have a solution on how to stop the traffic. We can't stop traffic.
No.
Now,
We have
now, if the road was built with a better design years ago, with foresight, you might have a better problem. But they didn't. And they're not gonna do anything about it now. And that's what they said. We are not. We have no plans on doing anything with the construction of Route 7. that right?
And I respect everything you just said, but in the light of what you just said, and we all know it's bad, and we know we're not gonna wake up tomorrow with some silver bullet that's gonna fix it, but why in a million years would we do anything that could potentially make it worse?
That's right.
If I may, in the years that I've been on here, there was never a Chick-fil-A anywhere around. But I sat here and I heard the same thing about traffic. Time and time again. And it's, you know, the traffic is there. The reason these businesses come here is because the traffic is here to support them.
I've lived off Hoosick Street for 50+ years, and I have not encountered traffic like I have. So I don't know if you travel Hoosick Street every day, I'm not sure where you live. But the traffic today isn't what it was 5 years ago, isn't what it was 10 years ago. And I think the error in all of this is not having the foresight 10 years ago to realize that you can say no, that you don't have, you know, at some point, you have to stop and say, this is our town, this is where we live, this is where we raise our families, and you know what, we're not gonna do it anymore. You wanna come to Brunswick and you're gonna follow our guidelines and you're gonna abide by what we want in our town. So yeah, if you zone B15, whatever, and you followed all those rules, and you're not gonna impact traffic, and you're not gonna be a detriment in any way to our town, please come, we're welcome. But if you're not gonna do that, we don't want you. We don't need it. We don't want their money. I mean, what is their money doing when it destroys your quality of life?
Couple things. One is you mentioned about public meetings.
Yeah.
DOT did conduct in Price Chopper Plaza down there. They had, I think, 3 public events where they advertised it all over the place. And it was on the town website as well. And it was a tent thing that they put up, and there was quite a few people that did go to that.
Yeah,
I know that for sure. So I don't know how else you feel about that.
Yeah.
But there's another issue that we have to deal with too. It's a state road, right? And so when we do traffic studies, it's submitted to New York State for a curb cut, and they get a letter that they present to the planning board that generally states, yes, we can do a curb cut and we can handle the traffic. And they
Can
base
you
all
tell me
the
what a curb cut is? Is it like?
a driveway. In essence, a
Driveway.
driveway. Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No, that's fine. So what happens is, again, the planning board gets the traffic study that we had from an engineer. We submit it to New York State. They allow the curb cut, or say Route 7 can handle the traffic. So if we cite traffic or any other kind of situation, the developer sues us. So then we get into legal fees, and we tried to kind of go down that route years ago, and every lawyer said, you're not going to win, you're going to lose, they're going to still be able to deal. So it's a tough,
I can
It's
appreciate
tough.
that too, but I still,
it's tough.
my heart of hearts says, I've been here 50 years, I have 3 kids started living in Brunswick, 1 moved to Latham, because he said, I have all the conveniences in Brunswick, but in Latham, I can just get out, I can go, my kids can play ball on the street, they can walk to their school, all these things.
I get all those things.
You know, and that's what I want, I don't want my other kids to leave, I don't want to leave.
But what I'm getting at is, it's not simple to just say, listen,
No, I
you
know,
don't really care for your business to be in here, might create too much traffic, that can't be a reason. We can't
but a traffic
necessarily,
study that
we
shows
can't
that.
necessarily say that based on the state. The
So
state is saying that they can handle the traffic.
Yeah, I never had Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
I don't know much about it other than traffic.
No, I'm not even saying
I
anybody,
If
anybody
a
else.
business says,
Anybody
if you can show that they have 500-foot lines or something onto a road that's already standstill 50% of the time, would that not be a negative impact? And if they wanted to sue over that, I mean, somebody needs to get an ambulance through, what are you doing? Gridlocked it, you know, so anyway.
I know we got other people and stuff, we gotta keep, thank you. That, what Jim said is very important, I wanna emphasize this. Here's what happened. when Hannaford wanted to come to town, I met with whoever it was, and I said, we can't handle it. We can't handle it, not in that area, we can't handle it. And Mr. Sullivan said, what they do is a developer, who you guys know, Hannaford and all these guys got a lot of bucks. They go to the state, they come back with a letter saying, whoa, wait a minute. If they put this traffic light in or tie it into it across the street, yeah, we can handle it. They got that letter. So they own the road, the state, they're okay and because do mitigate, that's mitigation, what we call it. Put a traffic light up, which I think made it worse, personally, unless you want to get out of the car wash, which is better. They give us a letter. So that's what I'm wondering about the planning board now with, say, the Chick-fil-A. So if you zoom in, which they're going to, and look at this traffic, and they're gonna meet with the state, DOT, they're gonna meet with Rensselaer County, they're gonna meet if the state comes back and gives a letter to that developer saying, put a turning lane or something in, and it's okay, we're gonna say, we don't believe it, we could sue them. Trust me, you're not gonna win it. You're not gonna win that. And we'll talk about that moratorium idea later. But this is true. They got control of the road. They got letters saying that it is completely crazy, but wow.
I don't know if I can come anywhere near, she explained it very well. My name is
Excellent.
John Rupp, 18 Chester Court.
Repeat your name, I'm sorry?
John Rupp, 18 Chester Court.
Thank you.
Been here for about 15 years. And, sir, you said it very well, sitting there time and time again, meeting after meeting after meeting for years. People have been coming here, bringing up this subject for years, hands on deaf ears. Because I hear you say, well, planning, the state road, county, everybody putting in all different directions. But one of the very first things you said at this meeting was that you tried to get in different kinds of restaurants. You're trying to run a business, you're trying to get in here. And that just means more traffic.
No, I'm hearing people,
Yeah.
I'm hearing people tell me they want a good restaurant, they want a good restaurant. So if it's a B-15, I say, how about a good restaurant?
Please don't interrupt. I don't want some long-winded response. I've heard that.
Long-winded response.
Come on. So,
Yeah, just give the comment, if we're gonna do this, just give me your comment, sir. It won't be long-winded response, I was trying to help people.
oh, good, yeah, well, I guess my comment is that when you say that you try to, get certain businesses in here, and at the same time, you say you have nothing to do with it, it's a planning board, it's kind of for.
That's not true.
I've heard the word deceit used here today. And I think that.
What? Huh?
Deceit. Yeah, you probably haven't heard that, right? But there's a little bit.
Is this guy from Brunswick? I mean,
Okay.
I'm so used to people.
That's all.
Speak up, nasty.
Yeah, no need to.
Anybody else? Come on in.
30 seconds.
First of all, you get a truck to see here to get out in the direction. Stop for you. I live on Riding Club Road.
What is your name?
My name is Dick Ellis.
Thank you.
I live on Riding Club Road, right near the intersection of South Lake and Route 2. And the traffic coming down Route 2 is much, much higher than it used to be. I work at Stewart's down at the bottom at Brunswick Road and Pauling Avenue. And the traffic will be backed up 40, 50 cars between 7 and 9 o'clock in the morning. It didn't used to be like that. They're not going on Hoosick Street anymore. They're coming down past Harrington's Farm and right down Route 2. My wife drives out to Walmart. She goes around 6.8 miles. I come out Hoosick Street 1.4 miles. And I think the big thing is, don't we owe the people on Hoosick Road that have been there, like Plum Blossom and Ted's Fish Fry? They've been there for 20, 25 years. Don't we owe them anything? And we just put all of these fast food in there and take the business from the people that have supported our community for years now. And I think we need to think about that.
I'm Ed Golden, 14 Lord Avenue.
we're still waiting for the speed limit sign that was taken down when the road was expanded, and
We ought to be able to fix that.
what's that?
I said, why isn't that up?
I don't know, it's a town road.
I don't have an answer for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're a little taller than the others.
And I will tell you, I don't have an
Thanks,
answer
Chuck.
for that one. So.
okay, but, you know, they come down the road, they get a head of steam up, and they're moving, you know, down Lord Avenue towards Duncan Lane. If we just give them this, I know you can't do anything about the traffic and the amount of traffic, but if we could just slow them down a little bit, that would be really, real appreciative.
Thank you. Dude, tip that down a little bit, Jennifer.
Yes.
Right?
I'm pretty sure.
This is a twofer.
We're gonna,
There's only one guy here that tall, I think, Steve, put it back there.
Jennifer Mann, 91 Hill Road. And,
Adriano Bongiorno, Tamarack Road.
as was mentioned before, the town has seen several recent moratoria, a solar moratorium because it seems like the solar market in town was getting near saturation, and a moratorium on multifamily dwellings until you could study the impact of further developments of that kind.
Yeah, so as was stated earlier, we would respectfully ask that you guys look into, consider passing a moratorium on commercial development along the corridor, because it is so oversaturated with traffic. Until at least the study is done, the CDTC study, and it's been published, analyzed, submitted, and folks like us get to take a look at it and respond to it. And we also hope that the impact of any development is also weighed against any benefits, perceived benefits that sales tax may bring, are weighed against quality of life for folks in Brunswick. And I would also say, I completely understand, Hoosick Street is a state road, but, from the sidewalks on, it's a town. So, I can imagine the town doesn't have some say in what goes in, what goes out, what comes, what's allowed. And I guess with regard to why most of us are here, which is Chick-fil-A, maybe Chick-fil-A could just wait until Hanford goes out of business and they can locate it.
I understand from, I think it's the Times Union, that the town of Colony, when they've got a Chick-fil-A that's trying to build at Latham Farms, it seems like they said on whatever website, it was like the town of Colony, but it looks like it's in Latham. But they kicked it back to the Chick-fil-A and said, provide us with a traffic plan before they'll approve the project. So maybe we could have the onus of the traffic plan fall on Chick-fil-A. Yeah.
That's gonna happen.
Oh, okay, well, so they seem like they've stalled the project for now, so that could be a way to have a way to say, let's slow this down a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, if you come up and tell me that DOT is a good partner, I'm not gonna believe you.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm introduce myself first?
Everybody knows you.
No, not everybody.
Okay.
Jim Tashik, 387 Brunswick Road. We do need a partner in DOT. And the town has been totally negligent in getting a partner in DOT. So maybe,
How's that?
where is the partner? There's no partnership, there's no cooperation, there's no interaction. Okay, maybe you might, maybe because.
I tried. I've gone down there, took engineers, and they won't talk to me.
Phil, I'm tired of being the victim.
You're not the victim. I'm tired of them not listening to me.
The town, I'm tired of being the victim of DOT, and there's nobody here can do anything, and there's no new ideas to approach this. Maybe you have to work through, listen.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Maybe you have to work through Steve McLaughlin. Maybe you need political.
Could have worked through Bruno, but he passed away.
Well, maybe you have to find a new partner then.
I can't find anybody that powerful that listens.
Well.
The state's not gonna listen to McLaughlin because he's fighting with him all the time.
Now, the thing is, like the CDTC study, where is it? I mean, where do we stand with it?
It's the final draft.
Okay.
And they're the ones who put it out, it's their draft.
All right. Who's the liaison in the town with them?
Excuse me?
Who's the liaison in the town, of the town government
with the CDTC program.
Wayne Bonfield,
Okay,
the engineer's been doing it.
I think we need to get a higher level elected person in as the point person, right? So like, you could say,
I'm with him, but Wayne
okay, but.
knows more about the engineering
We have
stuff.
to follow the details of this, right? So I don't wanna see a report that comes out final, or there's no public input. And Jim, I disagree with you totally that there was public input into this. A pop-up meeting or a pop-up, talk at Price Chopper is not a public meeting.
How is it? It was scheduled to be one. Anybody could have gone to it.
Okay, we could have had it over at Goose's Barbecue too, but there was no notice. There was no effective notice to this. I called the town clerk. I said, how do we get, there was a rumor about this, and there was nobody who, here, including the town clerk's office. Rebecca was not the full clerk, but she knew something about it. Is that not true? Let me say, she's nodding her head yes. Okay? That was not, that was putting an information kiosk or whatever is not a town meeting. What you want to do is have it, properly notice it, and you're going to get response here. So you can't say that this, so I totally disagree. That's not an effective way to get people's opinion, okay? Now, the other thing is obviously, the traffic on McChesney is bad. You know, right now, I looked at the traffic studies, and there was one done by Chick-fil-A, and there was another one done by maybe Creighton Manning, and there was another one. They're both in the building department office. Right now, that intersection is rated at the lowest possible level. It's E, as in A, B, C, D, E. Like A's real good, your kids are doing well. E's, you're going to get kicked out of college. Well, that intersection's been kicked out of college. Okay, so I can't imagine putting anything near there. I don't care how many more lanes that they're going to try to put on McChesney to handle that traffic, right? Okay, and then, Phil, we need somebody who can have some original thoughts on this, and legally, what basis can you have for refusal of people to come into form a restaurant? For example, is excessive traffic a legitimate reason to refuse permission? Tom, is that a possibility?
Jim, it's hard to answer a question like that. What happens is the thing is studied, and it's the traffic it's studied by the town when a project comes in, by the planning board, whoever it's handling.
The planning board doesn't do any. They don't do the traffic studies.
No, but they receive traffic studies from the applicant, and they also can get their own. And I think they've done that.
Okay, well, that's okay. What other viable reasons are there for refusing? Maybe you have to do some legal research on this.
What you have to understand is we can if somebody comes in and they check all the boxes for a particular zone or something like that, it goes through the secret process, and if there's it's determined that there's going to be a negative effect on the environment, then they have to do a draft environmental statement, and all that. They have to go through that whole process. But when that's done, when all is said and done, what's going to happen if we just turn a project down because we don't like it? We're going to get sued, and then it goes to Supreme Court, and if the court rules that it's arbitrary and capricious, they're going to tell us that we were wrong, and they're going to direct us to do it. That's what an Article 78 does. Everything except like zoning is different because it's legislative, but these administrative boards like the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, and even the town board to an extent, with some of the things they do, everything they do is subject to the Article 78 proceeding power of the courts. We can be taken in, they file a petition with the court, And then the court looks at what we did and determines whether we had a valid basis for doing it. If they determine that we don't, they direct us to do it. And that's the way it works. And then this is where we get into litigation. People criticize because the town gets sued. Well, some of this stuff has happened, like years ago with, like, for example, the Brunswick Smart Growth stuff, you know? We got sued and those things went to court. We defended them, spent a lot of money. People criticize that. So, but that is the problem.
So the town doesn't, you're not guaranteed of losing this, is my point. Sometime somebody's gonna have to put a stake in the sand and fight this. All right?
Well, and I'm just trying to get. Nothing.
All right, Jim, anything else?
Not right now.
Let me ask you this quickly. Let me just,
No, wait a minute.
okay.
Like Gordy's always said, no, Gordy runs a good local businessman. I've been a customer of Gordy's for a long time. Which we keep in friends. Gordy's asking, he asks this frequently, and I think that's sort of a valid question. What would you do? What would you do? And right now, you know, I'll probably answer Gordy. I would have planned 10 years ago, right? But also the things, just remember, no matter how bad it is right now, if you don't make some sort of effort, things can get worse. And that's why you have to start. Plan now. Right,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Okay, thank you very much.
Let me, before you leave, you talked about the state being a good partner. Now, be honest with me here now. You live on Route 2, correct? Trailer trucks are a problem, correct? Speed wise,
Yes, all traffic is.
all traffic is. You witness accidents over there, dangerous accidents. You came to the board and you said you were willing to carry a petition, which you did, I believe, to lower the speed. You had some neighbors help you. You got, how many names on that signature?
150 years.
150 people along Route 2 that asked the state just to lower the speed, like in front of Angles. When you pull out of Angles, what is that, 45? When they come up the hill, whatever.
It's 40.
55, maybe.
Open up to 55.
So, this is the sense here. This gentleman worked, 150 signatures. We did a letter on behalf of the town in our leadership position saying, please lower it. Listen to them. What happened?
They said no.
They said no. Got a letter back that said no. This is what we're dealing with. I don't care.
Okay,
It's frustrating, I'm just telling you.
What I would have liked to, you know, we had, this was totally on us. You know, really, the town didn't do any of the legwork. We got all.
Exactly.
We got all the.
You did all the work,
So I suggested
meaning, it should mean more to the state, I would think.
I suggested that the people here that live on there, get a committee, start collecting all the accident reports from the county and the state police, and tally them, all right? There have been various traffic studies done over the years on the quantity of traffic loads. Get them from all you can get 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years, and see what the trend is, okay? And just to demonstrate this. And so this is how you can convince, you know, there are engineers at the in DOT. These people we can convince by numbers, right? And sometimes it takes fatalities. You know, that's true, that they're looking for fatalities. But I mean, actually, there was somebody killed, was it a motorcycle on Houston, right? So that's why
Okay, anybody else?
All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Oh, hi, it's Betty Fuji, I live at 36 Kellogg Avenue. So I'll be quick, you know, I went to the planning board meetings for about 3 years while that whole project was getting done with the Albies and all that. It was a pretty long time. And I really have to be honest, not only on that project, but any project that came through. In that 3 years I was there, every single variant was approved, every single one. And I used to sit there and go, what's the point? And I said this at a meeting, what is the point of having these rules if you're always gonna allow variances, and it's just like you don't really have that rule. It's not really a rule. Someone says, I don't wanna do it, and they tell you why, and then you go, okay. So anyway, that's a point about, variances, like they can't always be approved. The other thing I just wanna say is, we're all here because we're frustrated with the traffic. We get that you are a little bit, and there's a lot more people than the people that are here that are feeling that same way. And you're the town government, and you're kind of in charge of doing this, you and all the other, committees. And what we're saying is, we need you to do something about it. Manage the traffic somehow. It's not a blame game. It's like we all need to get together to figure this out. And I think everybody in the room will be more than happy to come up with ideas, a brainstorm to help with meetings. But the point is, something has to happen. Just something has to happen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Come on up.
Joe Durkin, 22 Maple Avenue, Eagle Mills, the wonderful hamlet of Eagle Mills. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to reflect on the comments that were made by a number of people about the moratorium. The idea of moratorium. To your point about the lawsuits, about individual projects, well, because as you point out, the zoning says these are allowed. And that all is consistent with the comprehensive plan. We all understand that the comprehensive plan put that as the commercial district. Every well-planned community has a commercial district to generate tax revenue. We all understand that. But to another point, somebody made, quality of life is another issue as well. So money coming in, we live in Eagle Mills, we get the benefit of those tax subsidies from the commercial development because it keeps our taxes down. That I fully understand. We're getting into a density problem. Your point about the traffic going to Vermont, okay, you can't control that. But what you can control is inviting people in with other projects. But if it's one project at a time, it's basically the straw that breaks the camel's back. One by one, it gets worse and worse and worse. So I do have to think that, you mentioned this before, so you think about a moratorium. Maybe the time has come for a moratorium on further commercial projects within the commercial district. You did a moratorium on solar, you did a moratorium on multifamily housing, so you could look at the big picture. Instead of looking at one little individual project at a time. And you're in a tough spot. I agree 100%. You're in a very tough spot. It's not an easy answer, and there's no simple answer, but maybe the moratorium is the way to say, we have to reflect upon what's happening here. And you've heard me say this before, I mentioned this to people before. An urban environment is being created in that area, and it does not have an urban road system. And that is the problem. It's not your problem, it's not your fault. I mean, it is your problem, it's not your fault. But it's an urban environment being created now, and it has to be viewed upon as a little mini city. It has to function like a city. And that's what you need to kind of think about. So maybe the time has come for a moratorium. So I'll leave it at that. It's getting late.
That was very well said. I appreciate it. I've reached the point. When I come home from work, my lovely wife and myself sits down, we have supper on the couch, we turn on the TV. She won't watch TV with me anymore because there's nothing but bad news and hatred in every station, and it's absolute. And I don't want that to happen in Brunswick. And Jennifer, I've worked with Jennifer Mann during the campaign. She's been outstanding. I appreciate it. We try to work together. Sometimes we get in trouble with the Democrat-Republican thing, but I appreciate doing that. But then people send me that, and I know you can't control this, but then I get somebody sending me, Facebook thing. And of course, the gentleman used to work for the highway department, and he's not a happy guy now, and he left. But when you put in Facebook, good restaurants do not want to waste money greasing the hands of the politicians in office in this town. That hurts a little bit. And then a gentleman from behind Roxy's, without mentioning his name, who says, we can't even get them to do anything, meaning us, in our neighborhood with the traffic. I speak my opinion, and the state police were at my house in the morning, the minute I said something. Now it's gonna get worse. P.S. I did not vote for that clown. I want to clarify that. The state police did not go down and talk to that gentleman because he doesn't like me. There's a lot of people who don't like me. The state police went down there because he was in one of these meetings. I don't know if he's here tonight or not. I don't recognize him. He got up and said, I was walking my dog in the neighborhood the other day down by Duncan's farm and I almost got hit. If I have to come back here, none of you guys up there are gonna leave. That's what he said. It's on tape. My town attorney says workplace violence, you can't look the other way. So I called the state police and I reported it in case something happened. And the state police went down there and the state police said, he come out of the house and I'm sorry. The state police said, they didn't open my mouth. So he knew he was sorry, he was out of line like 2 years ago. And that day, or a couple days ago, he puts in there, yes, I didn't vote for that clown. I said something to the troopers for there. That's the frustration. And when Joe gets up, Joe's been very, very active in the opposite party that I'm in. He plays very, very hardball. He won a few, I won a few, but I respect that. And we just, whether you agree with us or not, we got to try to stay on the same page. So, thank you. Young lady?
Good evening, my name is Vanessa Pajorno, I live on Tamarack Road as well, tough to follow those comments.
Whereabouts on Tamarack?
Right down the road from you, actually, 598.
598.
But,
Isn't the traffic bad up there too?
honestly, like,
Not
there's
bad.
like no speed limit apparently anymore, but that's not why I'm here.
Yeah, okay.
But, I don't want to digress, I know, there's been a lot of comments made, but what I really wanted to touch on was 2 points. One of which is actually 3, the comments and feedback and dialogue here is amazing. What I'm hearing is interest and collaboration from the community and an ask or a demand, a request that we need to do better, we need to do more, we need to be thoughtful. Municipalities around us are doing listening sessions and thoughtful planning processes to find out what people want, what they need for their aging community and their toddlers. We, not only traffic, we should be doing that, so we don't have 3 mattress stores, and we don't have 5, whatever, fill in the blank chains. That's what I liked about Brunswick when we moved here. It was unique, there was more, independence than chains, that's one piece, and I just put that on the table as well in the context of this particular project. Let's look internally and ask the feedback of the community in terms of what are we lacking here, what would we like more of. I know people, there was a dog park created, but if you look at other dog parks in the area, that's really not what other communities have. We're huge, we have a good tax base, we should be doing a bit more. The second piece is transparency. People here, we're interested, we're engaged, we want to know what's going on. How can we find out what the planning committee is considering? Because last week the agenda posted 10 minutes before the meeting. How can we monitor what is going on? There's a lot of dialogue about other projects that are coming into our community. Panera, Home Depot, Lowe's, Applebee's. Is this true? And how can we be informed about this in the future? That's all I wanted to say. For your consideration and, reflection and future endeavors, I think we all want to work together. And the last piece is, even if some people have said no at DOT, that doesn't mean we can't put other elected officials and other people in other places. I'm the kind of person that just digs in and keeps working because we have to do better. We need to do better for our families, for our communities, and the generations for the future.
Thank you. How do you keep that informed? You just elected a new town clerk. Of course, being 75 years old, everybody's younger than I am. But very aggressive, not aggressive, very young with the new techniques. Rebecca has got the Facebook going, Twitter or whatever, right? Trying to inform the people. Her minutes are up to date here, so I think we're going to get better here.
But most towns provide meeting notice and agendas days in advance, not 10 minutes. I looked tonight.
That was a plan. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
There wasn't one tonight.
Okay.
For your meeting, and there wasn't one for the planning committee last week. So
Okay.
So that's just.
I don't handle that part. It's not me.
Oh, okay. I'm giving you credit.
Nope. Website's not me.
Uh,
I'm not getting.
I
involved with the
asked
website.
about that too, because I did see your comment, somebody on what happened, how come Chick-fil-A's on the planning board? And I got a hold of the attorney, not this attorney, it's another attorney. I said, what? And he said it was a procedural thing. It was just to move it, I believe, to move it on to DOT to get information back on traffic. There was no votes, there was no talk, there was no nothing. He wanted to try to get that traffic into that traffic quicker. So that's what that no notice was. So I hear you. We'll see what we can do. Anybody else?
I just have a question.
I gotta use the mic. We'll have this young lady. Come on up.
Hi, my name is Margaret Ferguson, I live at 26 Wood Avenue. I, as well as everyone in this room, have all the same concerns about the moratoriums, the traffic. I understand nothing can be done about Route 7, but has anyone taken into consideration the crime lately? Because
I was at court last night because they had a new judge. And I was wondering how he was gonna do. This place was packed. You know from who? From Walmart. And they tell me Hannaford putting in new cameras and we don't get anything.
Well, let me
So I
tell you a
understand.
story. Last week, as I was peacefully sitting in my kitchen, I don't know which shoplifter or where they were from. However, they were running from the police. And they chose to run up on my back porch, and thank God I could lock my back kitchen door in time, because they were ready to come through my kitchen door. With that, I watched them be arrested on the side of my house, between my house and my neighbor's house. And unfortunately, I forgot to bring their sweatshirt in tonight, because I do have that in my car, because that was left in on the side of my house. I did see 3 troopers and a sheriff, you know, walking through the backside of Hughes Avenue and whatnot and looking. It was pretty intimidating, not to mention the speed on Lord Avenue. But as far as the moratorium, I mean, can we add the crime rate to this, to these issues and less businesses and, because none of this really makes sense to me.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else at this point?
Just real quick, I just want to clarify, Mr. Troppi, I believe it was you that said that the, do you want to say my name again?
If you could.
I'm sorry, Jamie Morris
Done.
Ash, 218 South Vegas.
Thank you.
I believe it was you that said, the business that is proposing to go in is the one responsible to do the traffic study?
They come in with that information, because they're trying to establish to the planning board that they're doing what they can do, because they're trying to, you know, they're trying to create a site plan for the project. And they do come in with traffic information, but the planning board can go beyond that. The planning board has the power to hire their own experts if they need them, and they can do so at the expense of the other side. And all that is done in these cases.
Okay, so that was my question, was do we then, as a board, planning board, whichever board at this point, sounds like the planning board, so does the planning board then turn around and say, we are doing our own traffic study? Because if I recollect correctly from working corporate restaurants, on the corporate end, not just in the restaurant, our studies were basically what age groups were there locally, how many people were in the neighborhood. It was that kind of a study, not necessarily traffic patterns. So if they've added that, that's great, but I'm sure it would be advantageous to them rather than the people. But it's good to know that we have the ability to, I think, at the planning board meeting, that would be important for the rest of us to make sure that we ask.
The planning board has an engineer that the town hires, and that engineer is there to assist the planning board in interpreting like data, like traffic data and things like that. And if it gets to the point where the planning board feels it's appropriate to hire their own expert, traffic expert, to make sure that the figures and the information that they're being given is is accurate and timely and everything else, they have the power to do that.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for answering the question.
Anybody else at this point?
Just really quickly, I really appreciated Joe's comments too, because I do recognize that this is it's not an easy situation with easy answers at all. But there's so much energy and passion here and out there, people who couldn't get here tonight. I'm just kind of thinking, what if we had like a citizens group of people who tried knocking our heads against DOT and finding out what other communities are doing to try to limit development when it's getting a little oversaturated. And then we could work with you guys and you could put us to work. Would that be something that wouldn't step on your toes?
Nothing. People stand on my toes.
I mean, if we would be willing to get together and do a lot of the work, I mean, the only thing I'm saying is we need a meeting place. So maybe if we could work with you to find some place where we could all fit and like talk about things and
Well,
try.
let's talk about
Okay,
a possible moratorium or whatever. So.
yeah. Okay.
In closing on my part, trust me, maybe. Route 7, as we know, I'll repeat it, is an interstate highway. 40 years ago, just listen to me, 40 years ago is when the problem happened. They did an alternate Route 7 and they dumped it right in the Hoosiers at the bottom of the hill there. That was the beginning of the problem. Should have been, when they did it, we should have came out through here and did the 4 lanes at that time, but it did not happen. Our thought was, by looking at the comprehensive plan, and trust me, people call every day, not every day, people want the roads paved. People want the leaves done. You want the snow plowed. You want the brush picked up. You want this stuff. We promised Winfield Estate, that's the mess up there, wasn't put in right. That road was disintegrated. They come to a lot of meeting. We told them we're gonna do it next spring. I bet you, I didn't get a price, I bet you that's a $150,000 job, just that one road. So what happened was, this board, some of them, and most of them, what we thought is we got a commercial corridor, okay? Now, we could put a wall up, we could have put a wall up, all the way up through, and say, just let that traffic flow. We want nothing to do with it. Forget the commercial, forget the tax dollars. What we thought was, and it's proven, we need a sales tax. We need it someplace. So what happened was, we said, these guys are gonna go through, most of them, trust me, they're not coming from Vermont to go to Hannaford. They're not coming from Vermont to go to McDonald's. People are coming skiers and everything else, so let's grab some of that sales tax, okay? So what happened was, 2020, 3-4 short years ago, we had a $1.54 million is our sales tax, the town of Brunswick, that we received. 2023, 3 years later, is over $2 million sales tax. We went up in 3 years, $500,000 sales tax. A lot of it's that development. Now, here's the confusing part that nobody understands. And it's complicated. When you say, don't allow any new construction, let's move into the existing buildings and use that. Sales tax is a complicated formula. The county collects sales tax in the whole county. It's based on, which I wasn't happy, City of Troy gets a big cut, biggest cut. City of Rensselaer, they had all the politicians back when they did this. They get a big cut of that total. Those two cities get a big cut. The county gets a big cut, and the towns get what's left over. But it's not based on sales. You know what it's based on? Assessment. They collect all the money and they look at assessment. I don't know how many people know that. So when you get your sales tax, all this new construction down there is getting taxed. When they build something, our assessment is going up. our sales tax is rising. The great Walmarts of the world, when they come in, we tax them, assess them. Within about 5 years, they come back and they litigate it. And then you get in a big battle and they always get lower, and they get lower, and they get lower. So our feeling here as a board was we gotta keep growing with new businesses, okay? Now, I'm gonna admit, it's getting maybe a saturation point there, but that's why there's new buildings. And here's the thing. Now, people, this is important. We just had an election here, okay? I listen to all you people. That election this year was very, very competitive. This young lady went to almost every single door in the town of Brunswick along with her running mates. Put out literature, put out mailers, on internet, I even think maybe on the radio. But the whole campaign that I could see was about 80% about Route 7 and the traffic. 20% Harrington's too old, you know. I don't know if people are voting for Biden or not. I don't know that, but 80% Route 7, 20% age. And what happened? We had an election, a well-informed election. We represent the whole town. I really we feel for this area. But when I go around the town, and I do, they say we can tolerate Route 7 as long as it means it's keeping our taxes low. And I just talked to a gentleman the other day, older gentleman, said, so I'm going back to work. I said, what? He said, I went down to Price Chopper, put an application in. He said, for the price of food these days and the cost of living, he said, I gotta work a little bit. So the whole town, believe it or not, taxes are important to these people. And this is why we didn't put up a wall and say, just stop. Moratorium, what I see there, now listen, I read this, here's the draft. We got a $100,000 grant, and this thing's been studied by all kinds of experts. This is the draft. When I read that draft, it's gonna come out. I don't see any solutions for Route 7. I really don't. They said, we're not gonna widen that thing because we have to affect like 80 properties. It's not gonna ever get widened. That's what they say. Cul-de-sacs, well, we'll look at a couple cul-de-sacs, but we can't put it down by Lord Avenue because we just spent all that money, it's not gonna affect things. Maybe up here by 142. So, traffic lights, I thought, technology, let's coordinate these traffic lights. You know what they say? They're looking at it, you know what we're gonna save you? 2 minutes getting people through this town, coordinating the traffic light. There's no solution. So I wonder if we do a moratorium and say, just stop, which we can look at. Is that gonna solve anything? I don't know what the heck the solution is. We have got a situation, and I say we, I'm not just saying you. The growth has been good, but the traffic is, it's completely crazy. I still think a lot of this, they don't have their lights straight, but people, we had a good election. The whole town just voted. They voted this current board in. And we don't know if we're doing good. But on a local level, it's important. People are gonna throw us the heck out of here, but the majority of people voted us in. So whether you don't like it, you don't think we're doing a terrible job, we got voted back in. Now, that being said, there's an issue. I know there's an issue. I don't know what the solution is. All right, the end of my speech. Hey, just visitors can comment at the end of the meeting. I'm gonna run through this meeting.
Yes, please.
All right. Minutes of previous meeting.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Reports by elected officials. Town clerk report?
So for the month of December, we're submitting $5,471.31 to the supervisor's office. In rounded amounts, this comes from $3,904 in recycling sales, which is $2,810 from the center, $1,093 from the office. We had 5 community center reservations, equals $750. We have $252 in dog licenses, includes 8 original and 29 renewals. and $490 in miscellaneous fees, which includes $440 vital statistics and $50 peddler's permits, and $75 DEC license commission, which is our cut of $3,259 in sales. We did hire a new deputy town clerk. Her name is Cheryl Roberts. I'm very excited. She's already, she's on her second week and she's already done an incredible job. She has been in Brunswick for around 40 years and she graduated from Tamarack High School. She has 2 adult kids and 2 grandchildren. So when you come in, just be sure to say hello. She's lovely. And you'll notice we've changed the layout in the town clerk's office and really cleaned things up. So it's looking really nice. I just wanted to note that next week, the town clerk's office on Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday will be on limited services. Basically just not vital statistics, will be processed when marriage licenses will have to hold for a minute. And that's just so I can attend newly elected town official training. It's in Albany and it's, like I said, it's 2 full days and Friday's a half day. Cheryl is doing phenomenal. But she hasn't gotten too many DEC sales and things like that. So she can renew your dog license, your handicap tag, sell you recycling bags, get you the stickers, all that. But just not the vital statistics stuff just yet. We're going to work our way into that. But otherwise, that's my town clerk report.
Excellent. Entertain a motion for that executive report?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Michael's not here with the highway?
Yeah, what happened there?
Jeez, I don't know, a little wordy over here. Mr. Bradley, water department? Can't say you got snowed in.
I could use a water main break as an excuse, but that happened this morning.
That was my first get out
Yeah,
of
that
bed
was
call.
my wake-up call from Gordy this morning, let me know.
It was my wake-up call too.
Good, he didn't call me.
I was over in, behind the Eagle Mills Firehouse in the Echo, 6-inch main, cracked around. So the guys did a great job taking care of that. We did about 4 hours. So people were happy to get their water back. Let's see here. Okay, I haven't been here in a couple months. There's some personal engagements that I had going on, but we'll just summarize what went on in December. Particularly the THM values, we had talked about that previously in September. We got to take our last quarterly results. They came in lower, which is good, but it's in part to the fact that the City of Troy, much to my satisfaction, finally took a little bit of advice and started feeding potassium permanganate, which cut down on the organic load, which results in the fact that we got to use less chlorine, which results in less THMs. So that's all headed in the right direction. And they now have Russ Reeves as the commissioner there at the water plant, and I've worked with Russ in the past, so hopefully we can keep up a good relationship so that it benefits, all the communities that receive water from the City of Troy's water treatment plant. We completed our meter reading for this cycle, and I did a quick review. We have like 99% of the reads are in. Difference between the sale of water and the purchase of water, we still have about a 26% loss. It's better than we've been in the past, but it's still losing 26% of the water that comes in. And that's due to fire department use, leaks, and also, we've noticed that by some of our people that we sell water to. They have done, I mentioned this before, we do inspections, we find illegal draws. And that being said, unfortunately, we are going to have to raise our water rates. The City of Troy did raise their rate to us, and in order to continue maintaining the level of maintenance and service and to meet the regulatory requirements. And one of the big things this year, as I mentioned before, is the lead and copper rule and inspections and everything else that are required. Every single service has to be verified in the town. Not only do they have to be verified from inside the house, they have to be verified outside the yard where the curb stop is. We need to know the material that's on our side. We need to know the material that's on their side. There's going to have to be soil disturbance in order to do that. So you're looking at, anywhere from a $500 to a $1,000 expense for every single property over time. It's not all has to be spent this year. But over time, you will have to do a physical inspection every single water line. And that's, with good reason that we want to find the lead services and remove those, but it is an expense. So with that being said, our rate is going to go from $5.55 per 1,000 gallons to $6.12 per 1,000 gallons, which is about a 10% increase, which is a 10% increase.
City of Troy rating at 10%, correct?
Correct. That's correct. We've had a number of water main breaks, so we've done a good job, and I don't think too many people have been disrupted for too terribly long, and any one of those breaks have all been smaller mains, knock on wood. There is a new MS4 permit that became law and went into effect January of this year, and that is another regulatory program. It's also an unfunded mandate that we have to do a much higher level of inspection and program, what do I say here? There's 6 constituents, 6 parts of this MS4 program. Part of it's public education, part of it is our own facilities, public facilities, the storm and the construction inspection, et cetera. There's now going to be a reporting requirement twice a year, once a year. Now there'll be a reporting and progress updates twice a year. It's all going to be submitted electronically to the state. So they've enhanced the program, which is going to take more time. And then lastly, the EPA sent us a notice of violation. Our vulnerability assessment's on up to date, and that's because they would not accept my letter saying the cybersecurity component of this. We are not connected to the internet on any of our pumping systems or anything else like that. And there can be no control from outside. They go deeper. They want what they call continuation of services, your billing programs, your payroll, et cetera, et cetera. We're not in compliance with that. I have talked with the EPA, I've talked with the state DOT, and the bottom line is there's no excuse for non-compliance, so we will have to take and delve into that and enhance that program again. More time.
More regulation, more time, more effort, more money.
Correct. Just so that it's all transparent, that's the way it is. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Entertain a motion for Bill's report?
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Golden.
Long time no see, gentlemen. I think I was off a little longer than Bill Bradley.
Ooh, there's a.
Oh, his was a little more enjoyable, I bet.
I don't know what he was doing. I don't know. My report for the building department for December of '23. We had 107 building and property inspections, 305 active building permits, 9 permits issued or renewed, with 1 canceled, 0 meetings, 1 planning board meeting, 0 zoning board meetings, 0 court cases, 0 fire inspections, 16 follow-up complaint and follow-up code complaint inspections, 1 code call-out with inspections, 2 code call complaints, 4 code complaint inspections, 2 vacant abandoned properties identified, 3 planning board projects or agendas, 1 zoning board project or agendas, and 6 FOIL request searches received. The year-end number for all the monies taken in for planning, zoning, the permits, the FOILs, and vacant property registration fee came up to $150,987.39. I usually take this time to just take a quick look back. We'll take a look at it on the residential side, the comparisons between where we were between 22 and 23. On the residential side, we had 11 new housing starts for a value of a fee amount, or assessed value of $4,515,601, with a permit fee of $6.3750. In the year of 23, considerably less than half actually, only 4 new housing starts. With a I'm wrong about that. 22 had 15. Let me start over. 15 buildings in residences in 22, with a total assessed valuation, $5,554,601. That was in 22. In 23, on my single families, 6 residences were built for a total of $3,613,119 assessed value with fee collection of $3,525. I think that one of the things might have been interest rates, with the interest rates going up. The material prices have gone down, labor hasn't, but it may very well be from the higher interest rates. Regarding commercial, in 2022, 4 buildings in total, $8,473,600 or $600 in assessment, with a permit fee of $48,493.
48,000
Our permit fee was $48,493. Yep. You know, you had some big players, Aldi's and Hannaford's in here, as well as the Wendy's and Roma Jills. For 2023, we had 0 commercial buildings. So obviously no assessment value and no fees collected.
Interesting.
Any questions, gentlemen?
That's interesting.
Thanks.
Entertain a motion for Chuck's report.
I'll make it.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Town attorney, Mr. Chaffee.
Back numbers.
Yeah, this past month I attended and participated in meetings with staff and outside counsel on various matters at town office or by conference call or remote meetings on December 15, December 19, December 21, 2023, and January 2, January 3, January 4, January 5, and January 10, 2024. I attended and participated in the town board's 2023 year-end meeting on December 27, 2023. I also prepared the resolutions considered at that meeting. I attended and participated in the 2024 organizational meeting of the town board on January 2, 2024. I also prepared the resolutions considered at that meeting. Prepared a resolution and some other documents pertaining to tonight's regular meeting. And just prior to this meeting, I participated in a public hearing on introductory local law 1 of the year 2024, which provides a real property tax exemption to active volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers and their spouses and surviving spouses who provide services in the town of Brunswick. I also drafted that introductory local law in concert with the assessor after hearing comments from town board members regarding the issue. I also prepared the public hearing notice on that introductory local law. I've been continuing to work with outside counsel on 2 pending CPLR Article 78 proceedings commenced against the town in connection with Freedom of Information Law requests filed with the town. Been working with the building department regarding some pending and prospective enforcement matters. Been working with the supervisor office on some personnel matters. Been working with representatives of Pure Sky Energy, the company which is now developing the Tamarack Solar commercial solar collector system on Great Church Road in connection with putting together a decommissioning surety agreement for the project. Been working with Bill Bradley on preparing certain easements to be obtained from some individuals who own real property adjacent to the Vanderheim Dam, which are needed to enable the town to complete the rehabilitation of the dam, which has been mandated by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. I've worked with various departments in responding to outstanding Freedom of Information Law requests. And as always, I preferred legal research, provided legal opinions, and reviewed or prepared legal documents as requested by various town officials and employees.
Thank you, sir. I'll make a motion to approve Tom's report. Can I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Town historian. Trace? Long meeting, must have a little more history by now, so.
Actually, this month is pretty short and sweet.
Oh, that's okay.
Shorter than usual.
That's okay.
I don't have any interesting tidbits tonight for you guys. I spent a lot of time this month scanning scrapbooks and documents just to make it easier for me when I do research.
I am continuing my work on Forest Park. And so far, I've realized I've researched over 300 people that have been buried there. So I have quite an extensive collection of research. And there are 60 people that are from Brunswick that are buried in that cemetery. February 1st, I'm excited. We're going to have our first historians meeting since I've been the new historian. So that's something to look forward to.
I'd like the president.
Yes. Oh, God, no. I don't need another job.
No.
All right, that's all I got. That's all I got for tonight.
We agree.
Yes. That's it.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Entertain a motion for Tracy's report.
On
And then a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Angster, recycling. Or library. Sarah, I have a few for you.
Good evening. Recycling report for December. Blue bags purchased at the center, we had 500 for 1,500. Blue bags purchased for vendors, 600 for 1,530. Purple bags purchased at the center, 127 at $2 for $254. Bale core cardboard, 2.4 tons, a penny a pound for $40.80. Metal light iron, 3.68 tons at 100 and 264 a gross ton for $598. Miscellaneous, large and small appliances, we had 6, ACs 4, TVs 20, tires 17 for $576, and that gives us revenues of $4,592. The general expenses, refuse landfill, 15.76 tons at $85 a ton for $1,579. Single stream recycled, 10.89 tons at $50 a ton for $544. Household batteries, 0.61 tons or 1,342 pounds at 90 cents a pound for $2,407.
$2,000 to dispose of those little batteries?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, they're now charging $50 an hour to sort. That was a big extra cost on that. Currently looking for someone else to take it, so.
Okay.
And we're paying our prices are cheaper than what Albany's being charged, so it's still high, 90 cents a pound. The total now recycled landfill for December was 33.4 tons. And the total recycled landfill for 2023 was 415 tons.
Thank you, sir. Questions? Entertain a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sarah, sorry, always the last one. Brunswick Community Library.
Hello. All right, so for December, we had 2,061 visitors. We answered 224 reference questions. 100 unique users used our Wi-Fi. Our study spaces were used 171 times. Our technology was used 65 times, and we processed 16 passports. Our books and items were checked out 6,935 times, and our programs were attended 789 times. We had a special Celtic Christmas concert in December. We had our adult clothing swap, which brought in 73 people. The concert brought in 60 people. We also had a Polar Express party for the first time this year. That brought in 151 people. That was really popular, and we're going to bring that back. People really enjoyed it. Coming up soon on January 17th at 2 o'clock, we are having an herb group meeting led by Janice Fallon, a master gardener. We're trying to make this a monthly group for people who are interested in growing their own herbs and learning how to use them for wellness. It's going to be followed up in February, on February 13th at 3 p.m. with an Herbs for Winter Wellness workshop. On January 24th at 5 o'clock, we have a representative from SUNY Albany coming to do an Exploring College Options for Adult Learners seminar. And on Valentine's Day, we're going to be making Valentine book garlands, and we will also have our annual Valentine book sale. And those are all of our exciting things coming up.
Thank
Questions?
you. Thank
Well,
you.
congratulations, my boy, really bringing people back in.
We're trying.
Wow, really great,
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job, so.
sure.
Sarah, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I get calls all the time about the passports. Do you process the photos as well?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Entertain a motion for Sarah's report? I'll make it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, we're almost there, guys. Correspondence?
We have two pieces. We got emails. Actually, I'm sorry, the gentleman stopped in and Scott McPhee, 448 Menencha Lane. Thanks for helping him. It was the highway, directed towards the highway. Excellent job plowing the road and helping with the litter issues. And then there was Jerry Carafello, no address provided. Thank you, Jane, for the information. You're so thorough and prompt. That is the reason I always vote for you when I see your name on the ballot. Thanks again, Jerry. That was it.
Very nice. All right, old business, new business. We're rolling now, so. Warrants,
Make a motion, we can. Second that?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any further comments? That's the last item from visitors at this point. I want to thank you people for hanging in there. It's always nice to see a large crowd. And I know it's late, I know people's gonna leave, but running the town is a very complicated thing. And I feel bad because I missed the opportunity, these people I know are here just for the traffic. But there's a lot more to the town, kind of missed that. Poor Jen's hanging in there. So. I had a doctor's appointment today, this is it. Over in Neighbor Park, and I went in, these two women were leaving, and the one lady looked at me and said, "You Mr. Harrington?" I went, I don't think you're gonna yell. And she says, no, this is my mother, she's 94, walking out the door. And I said, "Mom, this is the town supervisor, he's doing a wonderful job." I said, "Any way you could come to a meeting tonight?" I said, "A Uber or something, you know, but anyway, I told her, it's very difficult. We gotta do everything for the whole town. And they're calling me from, I got 6 phone calls. Chipotle's coming, oh, that's so great. Finally, we don't have a hamburger place, natural food, it's healthy. These people are excited about it. So it's very hard weighing. And like I said, I don't like that traffic. I can't believe it got so bad. I'm sorry, I'm gonna say so fast. It seems so crazy. A lot of times, maybe, gotta be a light. But anyway, thank you for hanging in there, and we appreciate it. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make, you got it. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You know who does those photos? You know who does the photos? You listening?
Photos of what?